Hello everybody. Bit of a different sort of type of video today. Reason being, I've been kind of like wondering whether there's any kind of point in me continuing doing these videos. It's kind of like I know there's I think Lorne's continuing to be trolled, and that's not about this. I don't want to start, getting on my high horse or anything, but it started to sort of, I've naturally had to look at what I've done and said, well, have I kind of bullied Lorne or harassed him? I was going to do a video just on that, which I may do. Anyway, the point was, I thought, why don't I try and turn it into a little bit of a positive thing, all this Lornography business, which of course we can all have a lot of fun as we have done, but what can we actually learn from it? So, well, not to fucking sleep with 13-year-olds or try to. That's the #1 lesson. But if you, what I thought was, if you look at Lorne's situation or his prior situation and everything that kind of happened to him, it was kind of a perfect lessons on how not to live, what not to do. So like, I was thinking, what are the main things that we can sort of learn from Lorne's plight? I was thinking, what are the, what's the kind of things that is so sort of lacking in his life that have contributed to what he became, what he's become. And the one thing that I kind of thought about was kind of was hard work, something that Lorne doesn't or didn't do a lot of. But that's not to say that he was totally lazy. If you look at this is like, I think this is a picture of a video that Crank Cinema did. I was on the lol all day. He just sorry, I'm just gonna go on a laughing fit. But look at it. Right. Sorry. Anyway, the point was, hard work is something that we all need to do if we're going to get anything out of life, in any aspect of life. And if you look at Lorne's plight, what sort of where was he lacking in the ability to sort of, or the willingness to really work hard? Well, let's kind of lay it out on the table, right? He's not the laziest bastard that's ever lived. The guy had jobs, but if you need to get somewhere decent or somewhere special or achieve something that's real, you need to work very hard, which he's never really been able to do. He's never been able to strive that extra yard, really, to get something worthwhile. I don't think he's totally lazy, but he doesn't do what it takes to get where he needs to be. You're not telling me that he's achieved his life purpose in the situation that he's in at the minute, continually getting trolled and having to register and all that. And the reason I say I was sort of wondering about whether it's worth me continuing these videos, especially with regard to Lorne, is, I know everybody's got their opinions. Like I said, this isn't me getting in my high horse or anything. I wouldn't want to cause him any unnecessary harm. So, for instance, if I knew my videos caused him harm, I know that might sound ridiculous, but why would I want to hurt another person? Do you know what I mean? It's like if he stamps around and says COD a couple of times, then fair enough. But if it's caused him any sort of prolonged, you know, why would I want to add to his misery? He's got enough. I know some people think he deserves everything he gets. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you know, that's the point. Is I didn't. You know, it's something I'm going to cover. Maybe do a video on it in the future. But with regard to, let's stick to the topic, which is, you know, I thought about his sort of situation and everything that we know about his past. Let's think about his working days. Didn't he join the? We know he joined. There's going to be people that that know more about this than I do. We know he joined the some military. Was it the Air Force? He didn't last long, did he? We know there's the pictures of him. So it would have taken some hard work to actually get to that to get to the position that he was in. He would have had to have done some kind of tests or apply, or at least fill in a fucking application form. But the guy didn't do what was taken to stay in there. You know, he didn't last very long, did he? And anything like that requires, you know, military service, any kind of public service. You've got to fucking work damned hard. And he never seems to be able to just do what it takes. And I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and the reason being, you know, this isn't an opportunity for me to go, oh, look at me. But you know, I recently got a new job within the same field that I'm working, but quite a cushy job, working for the same organisation. But it's, you know, it's a step forward. It's a fantastic opportunity, and I cannot overemphasise how much hard work I've had to do to get to that position. It's phenomenal. Well, it's not phenomenal. There's fucking people that have worked a million times harder in life than I have. But from a personal perspective, like, wow, you know, it's taken years of graft and pain and suffering, really. Like, really having to be in situations that I wish I could explain more about, but I just can't in this. I just can't do it online for various reasons. Maybe one day, but certainly not at this moment. But the point is, you know, like I said, I don't want to just. It's not an opportunity for me to blow my own trumpet. I'm just trying to give a bit of perspective, really. Is that you've got to, if you want anything that's worthwhile, you've got to really dig deep and do things that you didn't think that you were capable of doing. And what I've come to realise, like, I think the last 3 or 4 years of my life, ironically, probably since I started, around about the same time I started doing these videos, really, I've learned so much. It's unbelievable. Like, I've done things that I didn't think were capable of. I've been down to the lowest depths that I didn't think that it was that it'd be possible to climb my way up from. There's been drama, there's been all sorts of shit going on, but you know, I've got to a place now which is pretty good. And, you know, like I said, it's taken. Anybody's got it. You know, everybody's got that ability within them to strive that extra mile. But most people don't. Some of the reason that's kept me going is because I've not really had much choice. I knew that I know what I wanted, and I kept going and never gave up. And there's been so many obstacles. I was like, you know, I think. It's a strange one. Where does that will come from? That's what interests me. Where does that... Some of it is like circumstances. You know, wanting to strive, wanting to better yourself. It's like, where does ambition come from? I know people in my sort of line of work. And what I've discovered is that kind of... Ambition's a great thing. However... Ambition can come from various places. There's like an ambition. I know someone at work who's relatively new, I don't like that person because they're very ambitious, which is nothing at all. Ambition is a beautiful thing if it comes from the right place, if it comes from an honest sort of integral need to better yourself, and maybe contribute something positive to the world. Then why could you ever knock that? Unfortunately, most ambition these days comes from a place of power, wanting to be in control. Wanting to be in control of your own destiny is fine, but ultimately you only have so much control. That's kind of a power that you've got to realise, is that you know, because you can try and organise things in your life, you know, get your family this place and then your career over here and your friends there and your money there, and that's fine, but it all could be ripped apart from you within a second. And that might sound negative and depressing, but it's fucking true, and it's something that you've got to accept. Ultimately, your destiny is out of your control. You have a destiny, be the best person you can be, but you've got to let go of that psychological fear of the unknown, because ultimately you've got no power over it. And most people's ambition is a need to control that which they can't control, and also a need of power over other people, and a fear of not being good enough. And if that's where your ambition stems from, then you will create suffering for yourself and those around you, because you will have a desperate need to get there, and you will inevitably step on other people. Now, being competitive it's like this job I went for. I knew a couple of friends that applied for it. Well, not friends, but people that I knew and liked. And I feel embarrassed now when I see them. I have to like look away, because it's not like I'm going, Luke, fuck you. You know, it's like, I don't feel guilty, but it doesn't make me happy that they didn't get it, but it's just the way of the world, isn't it? I have to, it's just what you have to deal with. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reason I mentioned this girl that's joined now, she's like in her mid-20s, and she just wants to be I can see straight through her. She wants power and she wants control. She already thinks that she's the greatest person in that organisation, and she's whinging that she can't take this particular exam because she's only got so long in, and she's upsetting a load of people, and it's a desperate need for power, which will ultimately destroy her, unless she changes, which she might do. You know, there's nothing to say. Some people can have an epiphany, and the reason that I thought we could relate this to the to the sort of, is that really, hang on, can I search? There we go. So if we look at kind of Lorne's sort of plight, if you look at the Air Force thing, he wasn't able to kind of stick with it. We look at the evidence that we've got. Look at the Betty situation. I know, like, there's the I think she's having a sort of medical bills paid at the minute from some new content or something. I don't know the full circumstances behind it, but we do know that she was wronged by Lorne, and that stamp. This is the thing, right? What I think, I don't know all the facts. I think I know as much as anybody about that situation. Well, maybe not anybody, because people have spoken to her directly. But from the way I understand it, he got himself into a situation because he was working within the construction. I mean, obviously, he fucking blames it on everybody else, doesn't he? And that's just him. But we'll talk about that a bit more. He entered into an environment, a working environment, said he would take that job on, had all his people with him. Basically, I think he bit off more than he could chew. He got himself into a situation and he didn't know what to do. So rather than doing what was necessary and working hard, he ran away. that isn't working hard. Even though he had enough about him to take on that job, get a load of people together, get the tools, get this, that takes work. Let's not just dismiss him as being the laziest bastard that ever lived, because he isn't. I know people, well, I don't know people in personal life because I've no fucking time for them, but there are people that just refuse to work. Fuck you is what I said to those people. And I said refuse, don't fucking say it's like, obviously I'm getting passionate about it, because if there's one thing I fucking abide, it's bone idleness. Now, and it kind of like, do you not piss me off when I went to Thailand? Over there, right, if you don't work, you'll die, because there's no welfare system as such. Over in England, it infuriates me. If you don't work, right, you get a free house, you get free food. Well, not free food, but you get vouchers and money. So you get free money. You can get free food if you look around for it. Free housing. I think you get some kind of internet allowance where you could get broadband or something. Basically, all your needs get catered for. And you could spend your life on the social doing fuck all. Over in Thailand, that doesn't exist. So everybody works. I spent a lot of time in areas that are not necessarily tourists, because that's what I like to do. Excuse me. And it kind of... I know why people get stuck in that rut, so I don't blame them 100%, because there was a time in my life when I didn't have a job for like 6 months, right? And I was living with my dad. I was only like fucking 17 or something. And it got to the point where I was getting up when he was basically coming home from work, and then I'd go to bed when he was going to work, and that happened for quite a while. And I fell into a rut of, and he'd basically, I had free board and free food, and I fell into a rut as thinking, oh, it's pretty good this. And then I was always looking for work, but it got to a point after a few months where I thought, this is shit. You don't want to be spending your life like this. And you know, I got a job and then got better and better jobs, and you know, didn't do too bad. So I get it, I suppose, and especially if you're born into, because there's a massive welfare system problem in England now, where people are being, there used to be the working class, middle class, and upper class. Now there's the benefit class, working class, middle class. There's a new class that's developed, which is the benefit class, who don't have any, whose family have existed. So the mother and father have basically existed on the welfare state, and not worked, and basically the state pay for their children, they pay for the healthcare. Obviously in England you've got the national health, something quite important that I've got to mention. You don't need, even if you don't work, you get 100% free healthcare. There are people that, well, I'll give you an example. I think, you know, most people know I work very closely and within the medical field, and we were dealing with some guy once who was in a hospital in Manchester, and he was I was there with the psychiatrist and the counsellor, and there were 2 police officers there as well, because he was under arrest as well, would you believe? So he was under arrest, there were 2 cops guarding him. There was myself and a psychiatrist, a counsellor, 2 doctors, and the porter had just come round and it said, what would you like for your 3-course meal? This is someone who didn't have a job, who had massive, not massive mental health problems, he was just whinging about being depressed. He had no job, he had 2 kids that the state were paying for, and he had all these people around him, and he was whinging, saying, I don't get enough help. That was his complaint. And I was like, oh my God. And me and this guy, this doctor, looked at each other, and we just went, did he just fucking say that? And it just kind of summed it up for me. He had literally a team, and we were reckoning up how much it cost for the salaries of everybody that were just dealing with this one guy. I think it came to like £200,000. No, it was more than that. It's like £250,000 combined salaries just for this one guy who couldn't be arsed working, and his complaint was that he doesn't get enough help. And we were like, what? Anyway, that was yeah, so that's kind of what goes on in England at the minute. So, with regard to when Lorne, the Betty situation, I don't believe he went into it with the sole intention to scam her. This is what a lot of people, I believe, get it a little bit wrong now. Of course, does he deserve... Does that mean he should get off with it, or get off with it more likely? No, because he's always had the opportunity, and he had the opportunity then to do the right thing, and he didn't. He ran away with that money rather than either giving it back. I think he'd spent a lot of it, but he could have given that money back, or he could have at least gone to her and said, I've spent it, I don't know how to complete the project, and I'm, you know, just been honest and put his cards on the table. And you know what? They'd have probably worked something out, but he didn't, and he wouldn't, because he hasn't got. It's easier for him to run away, and that's a consistent thing, and that's what losers do. They run away, and it's karma as well, because even though he thinks, oh yeah, I've come away with $20,000 here, he spent that on his truck. That will, even if you're a tosser, right, and you've got no empathy or compassion, and we know he rang her up crying. I think that was more of a sympathy thing, because she was trying to get the cops on him, because there was like someone contacted him about it, and I think he knew that they were onto him. I don't think it was because he felt bad about it. I don't think he felt great about it, but he didn't feel that bad about it, because if he did, he would have done something. And it's all about not working hard enough. He was afraid of taking that extra step that you need to. And that stayed with him. It's karma, because that will have been on his mind, and that will have affected his situation in Bowling Green, and that will have contributed to the mess that he was in, sleeping on the floor, and all the crazy things that were going on in his head that manifested themselves through this chat log. That will have played a part, and that's why it's important to always face up to your responsibilities. Now, if we look at Lorne's... the reason I've typed working is because we've got, right, most of it's like homework. So how much homework did you have today? Hang on a minute. Hang on. Sorry. How much homework did you have today? None today. Cool. You see, I thought if I use the word, type in work, it'll come up with, like, you know, a kind of, why am I looking into my cameras if you can see me? I'll look into, I thought it'd come up with all, I've done it again, with all the, you know, work scenarios that he was in, but it's mainly homework. Luke, how much homework? Oh, hang on. That's next month. I don't leave for work until 11 AM in the morning, so I'll have time then. Right, okay. I don't have to be at work until 5 tomorrow. So, I mean, I don't know how the welfare system works in the US, but someone will have to let me know what it was like, if you can, at this particular time in 2007. But I mean, what does it say about him that he didn't even have a bed? That he couldn't even be arsed buying a bed, but he had a webcam and a computer? I mean, that's just taking the easy way out. Is at least get a bed, man. I mean, come on. Leaving for work in a few minutes. Leaving for work now, precious. I hope you had a good day, and I'll talk to you tonight when... You see, and the thing is, you know, we could go on about Lorne's sort of... look at the country music situation. This, you know, we've talked about this before, is that he wanted to become famous. I keep looking into my camera, sorry. Sorry, into the webcam. He wanted to get famous in, like, the easiest way possible, which was move to Nashville, where there's country music, go to karaoke bars. So he wanted to be a country star, and I believe someone put a message in one of the videos saying he's still... Oh no, someone sent me a link to a video and said that in one of the new calls that he still talks about that he'd like to be famous, so it's still a dream he has. There is a part of me that kind of thinks that's endearing. Did I just call Lorne endearing? I might have to edit that out. But what I mean is, if someone clings to the dreams and never gives up, that's a great trait. But if it means that much to him, why did he never learn to play the guitar until he was in fucking prison? And even then he's shit. I mean, I'm not the best guitarist in the world, but fuck me, he's got no rhythm, he doesn't know many chords, he can't, you know, he had all that time, and being a country star is apparently so important to him, but yet he couldn't be arsed learning the guitar properly, or even, you know, has he ever had singing lessons? Because why not? This is what I mean about where does this extra will come from to succeed, and he just doesn't have it, does he? And the thing is as well, hard work isn't just an external thing, like, you know, wanting to get a better job and all that kind of stuff. It's you've got to work hard internally. Everybody's got the cross to bear. And to be the person that he was, to sort of become that twisted, I mean, let's be honest, this stuff, you know, there's very few people that could disagree that this is a twisted document. To have that mind that he has, he's never done any self-improvement, has he? He's never strived to be a better person, never did what was necessary, and that's the most important thing. You know, getting a good job and succeeding in the world is brilliant. Play around in the world of form, that's not a problem, but it's more important to work on yourself. If you get the inside right, the outside will take care of itself. And he's never done that. It's like that point when he was in the chat, when Chris Hansen confronted him and said, you know, maybe you think you should you realise you have a problem. He goes, I never thought I did. It's like, well, really? You never thought that this was strange? There must have been times when he thought, you know, maybe I can do better. And he never took a step back and thought, as very few of these people, if any, do. There was never a time when he thought, I'll work. You see, he took the easy route, didn't he? Right? He was in that situation. He was in Bowling Green and he was lonely. And, you know, didn't have a stable job. Didn't have any friends. Couldn't get a girlfriend. At that point, this is what a person should do. They should take a look in the mirror and say, what do I want and what do I need to do? So what would you do? Let's just put yourself in that position. First of all, right, you know, what money have I got left? Have I spent it all? Right, go and speak to Betty and tell her what the crack is. Should at least you're giving yourself a bit of respect. Tie up your loose ends. Get to the gym, work out, exercise, get a proper job. If you can't get a decent job, start at the bottom and work your way up. Do something like that. If you've got these bizarre sexual fucking tendencies, you need to get on top of it. There's basically help out there for everybody these days. It's like, I don't want to go into Lorne's bizarre sexual tendencies, but of course there's some fucking deep-seated, rooted issues there. And of course it would take a lot for him to eradicate those 100%. But he wasn't that far gone. He wasn't as bad as McFetridge, where he's an out-and-out. That's his genetic makeup. Do you know that documentary that I posted that there was that guy, and he said, I have these attractions to children, but I don't want to hurt a child, and he came out and admitted he was a pedo. It's like, what an amazing thing. You know, he admitted it, that's how he was feeling, but he didn't want to hurt a child, and he was trying to deal with it. There are people that want treatment. There are people that castrate themselves. Well, maybe not themselves, but you get what I mean. Lorne wouldn't even admit he had a problem. He still doesn't know. And that fuels all these people to keep trolling him. Now, like I said, it's not. I don't agree with that. Any of that. But he asks for it. Doesn't make it right, but he asks for it because he doesn't 100% admit his problem. It's too much for him. but he didn't. It never needed to get to that point. He could have dealt with it here. He could have looked at himself and said, right, I need to clean myself up, buy a bed, go and speak to Betty, apologise to this person, get to the gym, smarten myself up, blah, 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 learn the guitar, do whatever. But did he do any of that? No, he took the easiest possible way out, which was, I will go online, I will manipulate and groom a 13-year-old kid for my own sexual gratification, and just the easiest way imaginable is to sort of, you know, because was the challenge in that? There is none, is it? Because he's using his age as a kind of to dominate her, his age and experience. It's grooming. You know, it's like I've had like fucking, you know, I'm trying to, how can I put this without sounding like an arrogant twat? I've had lots of opportunities for relationships within the last couple of years, but it's never felt right. And my mates are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It may be that I'm being too fussy, I don't know, but I know that I'm not that insecure. I have to grab hold of the first thing that comes along. It's like, oh wait, it doesn't bother me. I'm quite fucking happy being my own skin. I'm not saying it's some kind of fucking superhero, but I think it's the kind of more difficult way, in that it's facing that uncertainty and that unknown. Usually most people grab hold of the first thing that comes along. I mean, look at all the trolling that's gone on, right? You know, that Ramona business, right? He knew nothing about, well, obviously he didn't know nothing about it, he wasn't a real person, but he was just, I love you, and not straight. What are you? Oh, he just grabbed, you know, what's the trolling? Does he believe he's in love with Casey Moreau? Is that what it is? What? I mean, he's still, you've kind of like got to feel sorry for somebody that's that deluded. I mean, God, man, what's next? They literally are going to get him to believe he's in love with some kind of fucking space alien next, aren't they? And it probably would. That would be funny, I must admit. Oh shit! I hope the sound's better. By the way, I turned the microphone up. No doubt someone will whinge. And just as a thing, right? There weren't that many. Last time I did a video, a few people mentioned and said, "Please turn the volume up." That's fine. Tell me to turn the volume up. But some tosspot started getting sarcastic and insulting. There's no fucking need for that. Do you know how long it takes me to get my computer ready to do a video just as simple as this? It's a lot of pissing around. I don't make any money, and I'm very fucking busy. Even though I've got that new job, I've still got studying for an exam. The point is, don't be a cunt, right? Just tell me the volume's low, okay? Right, rant over. And I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so it's hard work is an internal thing. You wouldn't believe the amount of, and I have to relate it to myself, so I'm not being like narcissistic, but the whole point of this video is to try and relate it through personal experience. I'd suffered from depression many years ago, and you wouldn't fucking believe the amount of hard work I've had to do to get to a point where I'm actually like happy and content now. Fuck me. It's just, I've had to, like, my diet has completely changed. I don't eat any crap, very rarely. It's all natural, healthy to a point food. I exercise all the time. I don't very rarely like feed my mind with crap. Don't read newspapers, don't listen to the news. It's all spiritual text, meaningful books, things like that. You know, I hang around with the right people. I don't drink anymore, don't smoke anymore. Well, I have a drink on holiday occasionally. So the point is, to get anything worthwhile and to improve yourself significantly, the work that's required is phenomenal. You've got to work so hard. It's crazy, and some people don't need to do that self-improvement. I know some people who are already pretty enlightened people, and they've already got to that point. Some through the birthright, and some through they've just managed to keep themselves on the straight and narrow. But generally speaking, most people will encounter some kind of tragedy and some kind of heartache or something in their life at some point, and we've all got to work very, very hard to get through it. You know, so it's about, we're all on a journey. We've all got a different journey, all of us. It's a crazy world, isn't it? You know, it's with everything that's going on in kind of, you know, politics and all that. But it kind of interests me because, like, I think people ask me, I think it's probably the question I get asked the most is, what is it the most about all this that got you into law? And I think the number one thing is, how does a human being sink so low? How does a human being sink so low where he's on cam to a 13-year-old girl who's at school? He's a 36-year-old bloke who doesn't have a bed, and he's telling her he wants to take his toilet to his dog to the toilet. What? I was getting pissed at work because of the calls that I was making. Now, he had a job in a call centre making terrible, like, sales calls, didn't he? I've done a similar job to that many years ago, and it's horrible. It's fucking this kind of shit here. It's random calling, the computer actually dials the numbers, blah blah blah. Fucking, like, that's one of the worst jobs you can do. It's fucking mind-numbingly boring. But do you know what? If you stick it out, it builds character, because you know what that does? There's people within my line of work that now that have never done a job as shit as that, and they, when it gets tough now, I go, well, at least I'm not doing that anymore. And because you've gone through that, it builds character, and that's one of the benefits of hard work, even in situations like this. Luke, right? So it's random call. He's like babbling on there. It's random calling the computer, and then it goes to, what colour panties and bra? It's like, oh, it's fucking. This is what you know. It's like we can approach this and try. You know, I'm trying to. This video is something new where I'm trying to look at a positivity from all the Lornography business, and then we can still have a laugh and go, what colour? Why was he always obsessed with the colours? We've speculated about this before. I think it's because he's trying to picture in his mind where he can, like, get himself off, and he wants to, like, oh Christ, can you imagine the shit that was going on in his head? And why am I wearing his hat? Do you remember me telling you, like, my mate at work, like, when we went on holiday, he just couldn't get his fucking head round the fact that I was dressing up as a sex offender? It's like, yeah. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, so I wish you were here when I came home from work every night, though. I didn't even want to work. I'm leaving for work. You see, it pretty much works throughout the whole kind of... But did not... This is the thing. He's not lazy, but he doesn't work hard, does he? Because he doesn't do what's required. That's the whole point. And look what happened to him. Do you know what I mean? Did you have a lot of homework today? Do you know where your parents are going that weekend? Not sure yet. Wow. So, anyway. So, in Lornography Life Lessons Part 1 is the need for hard work. And don't, you know, buy a bed. So what have we learned, right? Buy a bed. Don't be a dick. Work hard. Don't give up very easily, which is what he sometimes needs to do. If you get in trouble with someone, fucking admit it and don't run away. Don't run away from your problems. Don't run away internally and don't run away externally. Which is something that he consistently did. So yeah, I think you probably had enough of staring at me, haven't you? So we'll change that a little bit. And yeah, guys, I think we'll probably leave it there. We've been going a little bit further than I mean, kind of went off on a few rants, didn't I? I hope you've enjoyed it. I think it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video. Just let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's beneficial me having the cam of myself on in these type of videos. Please just let me know. I'm not, like I said, I don't get the opportunity to make much of these anymore, but I still enjoy doing the odd video. There was a video on Adam's second channel, I Wreck Everything, where we rambled on about Lornography and when he was pissed, which was quite funny. And me and Adam are going to be doing a stream soon and talking about like relationships and how they can turn you bad, the good and the bad, and how it turns some of these people, not into lawns basically. And also, I'm going to be doing another one at some point in the next few weeks with Shins Koala. We've got an idea about a pretty cool stream with regard to obviously taking into account his legal background. I know a lot of people enjoyed that last time, so yeah. So guys, let me know please if you've enjoyed the video, and it's been great to talk to you, and I'll speak to you soon.